Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
There's a term called Minnesota nice. People are very pleasant and they're very cordial. Kirk Cousins is a perfect Viking quarterback. He's Minnesota nice. I wish he was Boston angry and New York tough and had the ego of somebody in Dallas and L.A. cool. But he's not. He's a nice guy. He always makes plays, but never the play. And so on 4th and 8, when he goes to an underneath tight end route against man-to-man for a veteran quarterback, it's just something you should never throw. That is a useless play. So predictable, it hurts. But this is what we've had with Kirk Cousins for 8 years. He makes plays, never the play.
What do you think of that from Colin Cowherd, that he makes plays? I heard a longer edition of that rant, too, where he talks about, look at his box score. Every game is like this. Look at his box score, but then look at his teams. And now the defense back to that would be, right, but he's been saddled the last couple of years for sure with some pretty bad defenses, including on Sunday against the Giants. But right. He makes plays, but he doesn't make the play. Is that a fair characterization?
You know what? It felt like during the course of the regular season, he actually made the play quite a few times, because you don't come back in the fourth quarter 8 times without making the play. But when faced with the greatest challenge of the 2022 season, which inevitably was going to come in the playoffs, and it should have, he reverted back. And look, I think O'Connell was as diplomatic as possible, and it's partially on O'Connell too, but he tried as hard as he could to say, I'm shocked he made that pass. Yes. Like, he stopped himself. He was not going to criticize Kirk, but his words were loud and clear, which is that ball has to go down the field. And it's funny, on Twitter yesterday, I got a still shot of the guy, of the Giants defender about to hit Kirk. And it's like, what's he supposed to do? It's never supposed to get to that. The ball has to be out before that. I don't care what the pressure is.
Yeah, he had, and we've got a million things we're going to get to on today's show, by the way. This is Purple Daily Vikings Entertainment, where we just want the Vikings to win a dang Super Bowl before we die. And now we turn the page and look ahead to the 2023 season, which is what this week is all about, largely. Autopsy of what happened, how can they get better, what's the checklist. We'll go through some potential cap casualties on the show today. The show is presented by our friends at TCL, which is one of the world's best-selling consumer electronics brands. They have a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. Before I'll put a bow on that point in a second, but also cheers to our friends at Surly, helping us ride the roller coaster with delicious adult beverages this season, Judd.
The season's done, Phil and Dex, but you know what? The mission is only starting again for 2023, and that is the long-stated goal on this show of before I die, I want to see a Vikings Super Bowl championship. And guess what? Our friends at Surly, they're not done. They're not done at all, because they not only offer a wide variety of great beers, but before I die, let's just say I'm hearing rumblings. It's coming back better than ever.
My sources?
So gear up for the 2023 season with a Surly Brewing product of some sort, and then show us your cans on Twitter.
Yes. If there was a pie chart of blame for that 4th and 8 play that the whole country is talking about, Kurt Warner did a big 7-minute breakdown on his YouTube channel. That's great. I do think Kevin O'Connell deserves a slice of pie for questionable play design. Dalvin Cook and left side of the offensive line doing a bad job in their responsibilities, as some other people have pointed out through film study. And Kirk, it's kind of, there's 3 slices to go around. What Kurt Warner said, and I tend to lean toward the Hall of Fame quarterback when he breaks down film, and he does a great job. He said, because Hawkinson was asked to chip the defensive end, which means you can't chip and also get out 10 yards on an out route unless there's crazy good protection. So it was kind of a chip and then a bailout choice route that wasn't really ever supposed to be part of the plan. It was literally just like a bailout option. And, if he's not covered, maybe you get lucky. What Warner said was, as you're scanning here, Hawkinson's not an option. Thielen, before the ball is snapped, isn't really an option because you're on the right hash and he's running he's running a route like all the way on the left side by the numbers, it's just too far of a throw. It's just a low percentage throw. So he said Jefferson's your first read. If you feel uncomfortable throwing it into double coverage, which I don't know that you should, but if you do, he said KJ Osborne coming over the middle is your second read on that play. That's what Kurt Warner said.
Yeah, I think that's exactly
I think
right.
that kind of puts it to bed. But.
Yes. So Hawk chipped and released.
Yeah.
But that doesn't give you enough time to get to the sticks. So yeah. And look, it wasn't, I don't love the design because I don't think that in a situation like that with a quarterback like that, that's the greatest design. But you know what the thing is, you guys? The thing is this. O'Connell had developed a trust in Kirk where he fully in that play trusted him. And he learned a lesson that's been learned before, which is if you do that, there are consequences depending on the situation and predicament.
Now, despite all of this chatter about the 4th and 8 play, defense is the reason why they gave up so many points. Obviously, the season defense I think defense is the biggest elephant in the room for this team the last couple of years. And defense is where a lot of bloated, aging players and contracts reside. And that kind of carries us into another big offseason discussion here. We gave you 2 episodes on Purple Daily. We gave you the pie chart of blame from the playoff loss, and we gave you the hottest takes, and we gave you 11 potential defensive coordinator replacements should they decide to go in that direction. And today, Judd, you're going to lead this here. Possible cap casualties. So here's the conundrum. The Vikings' estimated cap space right now, and the way they calculate this is they take your top 51 players.
Right.
They take every team's top 51 players because ultimately, like, throughout the offseason, the roster's blowed up to like 90, and there's practice squad and all this stuff. So they just say, all right, let's forget about all the extra players. Who are your top 51 highest paid players? Those are the guys that count toward your cap figure. Mm-hmm. The Vikings' estimated cap space right now is negative $8 million.
Yep.
And that figure does not include free agents Garrett Bradbury, Patrick Peterson, Chandon Sullivan. You can laugh, but he is your starting slot cornerback. Duke Shelley or Alex Madison, or a backup quarterback, by the way, because Nick Mullins is a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the players that are currently on your roster, not including Garrett Bradbury, Patrick Peterson, Chandon Sullivan, Duke Shelley, Alex Madison, you are $8 million over the salary cap. Whew. So, Kwesi, as you're trying to figure out, okay, how can you guard against close game regression, right? You're probably not going to go 11-0 and one-score games again. As you try to make this thing better going forward, you need some cap space. You only have 4 draft picks, too. So it's not like you can just, all right, we got 15 draft picks like a couple years ago. We can just load up on young players and go that direction. You do have some young players that you could get back healthy that could contribute. But, Judd, I give the floor to you here. Take your pen, your pencil, your eraser, whatever. How do we create cap space for the Vikings?
Old school. Wrote it down yesterday. Sat down. And so I've got 7 names here. And
are
just
we cutting 7 players, or are we just discussing?
No, we're going to discuss 7 players. We're in the room at TCO. Nice mahogany table.
Ooh,
coffee, some pops in play.
Is there tea
water?
here?
Is there tea for
more of a green tea guy?
We're the Minnesota Vikings. We can do whatever we want.
Plus some green tea options. Is it a green tea or a black tea guy for Phil?
Whatever you want.
Whatever you have, but I'm more of a green tea guy.
But not whatever we have. We have everything because we're the Vikings.
Okay.
Like we're going to Whole Foods. We're going to the best places available. We're getting the best stuff. Okay. So we got it all on the table.
Trader Joe's guy myself. But
well, if you want to go to Trader Joe's, that's fine. But you know what? I'm going top shelf here.
Cool.
All right, so I have 7 names here that we're going to discuss. And just to be clear, the one parameter is this. I am not going to do the post-June 1st cuts. I'm going to do them all before June 1st because I'm trying to create cap space for March, okay?
Because you want to win now.
Yes. Yeah. So, and the post-June 1st thing I think can get confusing. So we're talking about oh God, I love this time of year. When the new league year starts, how can we hit the ground running?
Yeah. And because I think some people might be getting into the weeds on this as fans for the first time. we love getting into the weeds on this show in the offseason, so we're going to talk a lot about cap numbers and restructures and different terminology. We aren't genius experts ourselves, but we will try to explain for casual fans that are just getting into the weeds for the first time. We will try to over-explain some of this stuff. So when Judd says pre and post June 1st, basically the NFL uses June 1st as a contractual fork in the road for if you were to trade or cut a player after June 1st, you would get oftentimes much more of more cap savings that you could allocate toward whatever you want to. The problem is free agency starts 3 months before that.
Right.
So now sometimes players are cut with a designation of June 1st, right? So that's where it gets a little confusing too. But
right,
you're talking about if we're going to cut players or trade them, it's going to be before the league year starts or right after the league year starts. So just to clarify that.
Yep. Just to keep this as simple as possible. And the last option that we will have to discuss too are restructures. So we can restructure contracts as long as the player and his agent agree.
Actually, you can restructure without the agent approving.
Well, there are some contracts that have that written in, but that is definitely an option in at least one case. And let's get to him. Let's get to him right away because I hear he's from here. 32-year-old, slowed down, still has good hands. Adam Thielen. All right. So just here are the three immediate things that we need to go through for each player. 2023 cap hit is scheduled to be $19.967 million. Substantial cap hit.
Second highest on the team.
Yep. Dead money cut pre-June 1st. So if I cut him, this means that I absorb this on my cap with no payoff. I just have to swallow hard and accept it, is $13.6 million. And that means I save $6.4 million, which is a nice saving, but the dead cap hit does me no good.
Yeah.
The only way I see this as being a viable potential situation, and this might be why his wife actually sort of said potentially peace out to the state, is a restructure. I think you need to restructure. I don't personally, I would cut him if I could, but do you want the 13.6 mil on your cap just sitting there?
Here's the problem. So what you could do is, and a restructure usually is taking a player's base salary, which for him would be $12 million, turning it into a bonus, and then you amortize that over the length of the contract, which I think you can do that across a void year too. So he has 2 years left of base salary and then a third void year per the last time they redid his contract. So what you would be doing effectively is you have two options with Thielen. You could cut him and, like you said, eat a ton of money. You would still be eating 14 million of the almost 20 million he's owed. You'd only save 6. Or you could save like $9 or $10 million by converting his base salary into a bonus, but you'd also then be bloating the cap money in 2020. You'd be paying more to the cap for Thielen in 2024 and 2025. So the options here for a guy that's 32 years old, aging, can't create separation, is not a number 2 receiver anymore. The options are meh and basically.
Yeah. So I will take you guys back to March of 2015 when another, not a local kid, but a guy very much along the lines of Thielen played for the Vikings. Linebacker Chad Greenway, okay? In March of 2015, the Vikings called Chad in and said, dude, you know what? We love you still. Like, you should be a lifelong Viking, but we ain't going to pay you what you're scheduled to make. They reduced his base salary from $7 million to 3.4, gave him $1 million in guaranteed, and then another potential at the time, and he probably reached this, $600,000 from bonuses. So I really think that this is if this is going to work, I think that is probably, it sounds harsh, but that's probably the most realistic path to making something work, because I just can't see this guy's cap hit being that big and being worth it.
Yeah. So, okay. So what do? Do you just rip the Band-Aid off and cut him and say goodbye? Because you probably can't trade him at this point.
No. He's untradeable.
Or do you restructure, push cap money into future years, and get even more relief? Instead of getting $6 million in relief by cutting him, you get $9 or $10 million. The overall cap is going to be 200 some.
Yep. Dex, what say you?
If you restructure him, he would still be on the team. I want to make that clear.
Yes.
Man, I think I want to cut him, but that's just $13 million in dead money. And I don't want to accumulate throughout this whole process. And even I'm on over the cap right now. I don't want to be having a large, you're going to pay some people in your dead money. I don't want like 25, 35 million of just money sitting there that you're paying people not to play for you. It's a waste of cap space to me. So I would like to restructure him, but then what is that? Are we still we're still have to pay the piper down the road too?
Correct.
So
you would be putting more money into 2024 and 2025 in terms of like dead cap.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I'm smoothing it out a little bit by doing that and not taking the immediate massive 13+ mil dead cap hit.
So you would restructure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm restructuring.
I'd probably get him to restructure. That's probably exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
I'm restructuring. I'm trying to smooth it out a little bit.
He would be he'd still be on the team.
Yeah.
But it in a much reduced role. It's possible he might also say, I'm not going to, if you guys are going to go draft a receiver too, and I don't want to be your number 4 receiver, but I don't know. So let's call it a restructure. And according to Over the Cap, a restructure of Adam Thielen would save you about $8 million in cap space for 2023. Okay. Yes. So I will keep track of this.
Okay. On to a veteran, a Viking guy who's been with Vikings, I think, one more year than Thielen, which is 33-year-old Harrison Smith. 2023 cap hit is $19.1 million. The dead money, if you cut him, is $11.7 million. The cap savings then are 7.4. Now, he has no guaranteed money left. So, like, you wouldn't have to technically pay him, but you would, again, be paying the piper with another potentially massive cap hit.
Another guy, this is where how much do you want to just keep kicking the can down the road? He's still a good player.
Yeah.
He's no longer an elite all-pro player, but he's still a good player.
Yes.
He does have, so the longer the length of the contract, the more flexibility you have to restructure a guy. And again, restructuring basically means taking cap money from this year, pushing it into future years, dealing with it later, basically. But dealing with it later with a 33, soon to be 34-year-old safety is not great. If you're looking at some point, like look what the Bears finally said, enough. We're not going to do this anymore. And the last couple seasons, they've just cleaned out their books for 2023. And now they have over $100 million in cap space to spend on free agents. So again, if you're just desperately looking to create cap space for this upcoming season, a restructure of Harrison Smith would save you, drumroll, $10 million to the salary cap for this year. But it would push more money, likely dead money, because he wouldn't be, I'm guessing you're not going to keep extending him. So there's a good chance you'd be paying cap penalties without having a productive Harrison Smith beyond 2023. So how much do you want to continue to clear space for now to that's the conundrum here.
I think you restructure here.
See, I'm not
restructure.
I'm paying him.
You're just gonna pay him the number. I'm just
restructure. I'm gonna pay him because then I can. Because if I restructure a lot of guys, to Phil's point and your point, Dex, now I'm just pushing cap. I'm trying to smooth things out as much as possible, but I don't want to create a huge penalty. And I think Phil said the key thing. Harrison Smith is not the same player by any means that he once was. But like if I'm looking at who I'm trying to, for lack of a better term, manipulate their contracts, okay?
Yeah.
Thielen's I really want to because I think he's cooked. I'll take him back, but I think he's really close to being cooked. Harrison Smith still brings you something on that back end, and I do think that 2023 then would be his last year here. I think I'm going to bring him back and bite the bullet with Harrison Smith.
This is so tough, man. This is so tough.
Sure.
There's also half a chance he could just be a good, solid player still for another couple years. like Eric Weddle came back off his couch and was pretty good, 34, 35 years old. Safety's a position where you can, wasn't Charles Woodson really good until he was like 38, moving from cornerback to safety?
Yeah.
So I am, a lot of this depends. Are you going to try and go all in again in 2023? Because there's a lot of these.
Okay.
There's a couple other contracts you could tap if you really want to clear space for 2023 and keep shoving money into the future. If I'm all in for 2023, I am restructuring Harrison Smith, dealing with it later.
I agree.
Let's
just say this. Let's say I think the owners want to be competitive continually, but they also have to be semi realistic right now about where things stand. I don't like the thought of restructuring everyone, because then I'm just creating problems down the road. If I restructure Thielen and smooth that cap hit out eventually, but now I'm restructuring Harrison Smith, I'm just throwing it all.
But Harrison Smith's more productive than Adam Thielen is at age 32. Wouldn't you rather do it the other way around? Wouldn't you rather just bite the bullet on Thielen, cut him, save the 6, and restructure Harrison, who might have a chance to still be a starting player the next 2 years?
Boy.
I'd rather do that, what Phil's saying.
Yeah, no, I get what Phil's saying. I just don't.
Let's do it this way, okay? Let me do it this way. What if, all right, oh, man. All right, Over the Cap has a cap calculator that you can just tinker around with stuff. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I'm on that right now. It's great.
Okay, so we're going to undo these moves real quick here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's go back here. Undo this. All right, so the Vikings, if they were to cut Adam Thielen pre-June June 1st, all right, we're going to cut him. Well, sorry, I just did Kirk on accident. I was like, whoa.
No, that's
not
accident.
good.
That's no accident.
Classic Mackey. Classic Mackey cutting Kirk Cousins. Okay, so you would save about $6 million. Yeah, we already knew this. You save about $6.5 million on Thielen if you cut him. And then if you restructure Harrison, okay, we're going to click that there. That's another $9 million in savings there. So cutting Thielen and restructuring Harrison frees up about $16 million in cap space. And you would be sort of, I think you'd be then committing to Harrison Smith for probably 2 more years, but you would be done with Thielen, paying some penalty, but you'd be done with Thielen, a player that you think is washed.
So I've accelerated now with that move, approximately $13.5 million onto my 2023 cap. Dead money, I should say.
For Thielen, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But you're just biting the bullet. It's a bit, you swallow hard in 2023 on Thielen, but this is, you're going to have to swallow hard at some point, whether it's this year, next year, because the problem is if you restructure, well, now you're going to swallow hard in 2024, right? Because you're pushing money in the future.
Absolutely.
Can we do that instead?
Sure. So let's keep going. Let's keep going, because the next guy gets is a very simple one. This should be a quick conversation to me. Okay. He had a great first half of the season in his inaugural year as a Viking, but this 30-year-old rush linebacker, Za'Darius Smith, showed his age once he got banged up. Later. 2023 cap hit scheduled to be $16.99 million. Dead money, if I cut him, is only $3.3 million, and I save $13.7 million to the cap. This one's to me, no-brainer.
I'm with
He's gone.
Judd. Goodbye.
He was so good. If I could get the first 8 games, Za'Darius, dude, he had, I think, 1 pressure against the Giants, maybe none in that game. He's just been a non-factor for like the last 2.5 months.
He's 31.
Some of it's injury.
Yeah, it was a great first half, but I say goodbye here.
This one's
no problem.
very simple.
Yeah, it's tough. The idea of Za'Darius and Danielle Hunter, we saw it play out the first half of the season, but at some point, 5 of your defensive starters are over the age of 30. You gotta get younger and healthier. He's got back, knee. I'm with you guys. I think he just straight up cut him, unfortunately. And
keep in mind too, there has to be an off chance that they're going to switch back to a 4-3.
Yeah.
So he doesn't fit in a 4-3. So like all signs are, thank you very much. See you later.
All right. So we're cutting him, and so now, hey, wow, congratulations, you guys. We are under the cap. The Vikings now have $8 million in cap space, which will, I don't know, that'll get you like We'll get you like a Harrison Phillips type player, you know. You're not going to get a star for.
No, you're going to get a.
Plus, you need some of that money to sign like your first round draft pick and.
Yeah. We're creating space, but as of right now in this exercise, we are nowhere near like our desired goal.
Well, let's keep going then. All right. I think this is the time where we would, if we were Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell in the scouting department, I think we'd like take a bathroom break now. Maybe get a bagel or something. Let's send out for lunch. Are we ordering lunch so we can do a working lunch, or are we?
We're going to do a working lunch.
Okay.
From a really high end. I mean, we're going.
Are we doing like Murray's or JD Hoyt's or something?
Manny's, Murray's.
How about some Monte Carlo dry rub
Except for
wings?
me, I'm going Park Tavern. But that's just me. I'm calling my friends at Park Tavern. But that's just me.
And then actually, just to be sure that everything is on the up and up, you're going to consult with your Livia plan, Judd, which you should tell the audience about right now.
That's exactly right, because that is the most important consultation that you can possibly have. Livia Weight Control Centers helped me drop 40 pounds. In fact, if you look at the guy on the left and the guy on the right and you're saying, Sports Dad, are those both you? I mean, one looks like Clooney and one looks like, I don't know, a much fatter Clooney. Yes, that is me, because I dropped that weight, and you can do the same thing too. And guess what? It's not a quick fix. It's a long-term solution to what's been a problem for a lot of us. And right now, if you contact them and say, you know what? I saw that ad from Judd. I want the Judd offer. Guess what? You're going to get 50% off the program, but you got to say Judd and Score North to get that. 855-GO-LIVIA, livia.com, LIVEA.com if you want the new you for the new year.
A shout out to our business owner friends out there. If you run a business and you're looking for just a better guiding hand as an insurance company, Federated Mutual Insurance Company has been around for over 100 years, acting as a great offensive line for your business, looking out on the horizon, helping you manage risk, just helping you in general ride the roller coaster that can be running a business in 2023. Federatedinsurance.com to find out more information. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Okay, onward we go here.
All right.
So to this point, we have cut Adam Thielen. We tip our caps. We will schedule a Ring of Honor celebration at some point. We have restructured Harrison Smith because he still has gas left in the tank. And we have said goodbye and thank you to Za'Darius Smith. You did a great job. You did whatever you could with those knees and that back, and we thank you for 1 year of relatively good high-end edge rushing play.
One half a season.
So is Harrison Smith's cap number for you filled down to $9.7 million? Is that what you have him at?
Yep.
Okay,
$9.7 million for 2023, down from 19.
And then if we cut Za'Darius, I only have the cap space at 4.9. So where are you seeing the 8?
Okay, so we have cut Adam Thielen pre-June 1.
Mm-hmm.
We have restructured Harrison Smith, and we have cut Za'Darius Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And so on over the cap, it's telling me $8 million in.
Oh, okay. Above for me, it says 4.9. That's right.
Oh, you know what?
You're looking at the wrong one.
Oh, I found something. Sorry, I was tinkering with this tool last night. I cut CJ Ham last night, and it was still on my calculator. Wow. He's a 30-year-old fullback who played like 180 snaps. He played like 10 snaps a game.
You hate all the local guys.
Sorry, I will undo the cutting of CJ Ham for now. And yes, now we are back to
All right, I'm glad we clarified that. Good work.
Accurate information. Accurate information.
Yeah, my sources telling me. All right, number 4 on my list of difficult conversations for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is 27-year-old Dalvin Cook. 2023 cap hit, $14.1 million. If he's cut, dead money on the cap, $6.2 million, and cap savings, $7.9 million. I want to cut him.
No, can I present a different solution? I think you could get a late draft pick for him.
Okay,
I don't think he is not as cooked as Thielen. Could you get the Vikings? The Vikings have 4 draft picks. Nope, could you get a 6th-round pick or something? I love it.
If you can get a draft pick, Kwesi, you do it. What is his? If you trade him, does the parameters on the dead and cap savings change?
So let's see here. A trade pre-June 1st would be 6.2 in dead, nearly 8 in savings.
Okay, same as yes.
What do you think you could get if you floated Dalvin? He's going to be 28 years old.
5th,
he still has a little gas in the tank.
You might be able to get a 4th.
Yeah, I think this was
Maybe
it, though.
like a
It
fifth.
felt like this was it.
Maybe a
It felt
fourth
like-
with a conditional coming up to something. I don't know.
You know what? How about this? A fifth with a conditional, with it being bumping up to a fourth if he rushes for 1,000 yards,
something.
touches,
Okay.
something like that. Games played.
So we
because
traded
he-
Dalvin Cook.
Traded Dalvin
Nope,
Cook.
that's way better, Phil.
All right. And now we have nearly $13 million in cap space here, boys.
Okay.
Now
Now-
we're plugging along.
Now keep in mind too.
Now we
if
don't
you-
have any running backs though.
That's
so
what I was gonna say. If you trade Cook, are you bringing Madison back?
Drafting
Because
one.
he doesn't count against the cap now. Are you just trying to draft a Slappy? Are you going to just go sign a Cam Akers?
I'm rolling right now. I'm rolling with Ty Chandler. Kene
Okay.
Nwangwu can get a couple snaps here and there, and I am probably drafting another running back in like the
Yep.
5th round.
Okay.
Yep.
And there's some free agents out there. You can always find. There's actually a ton of free agent running backs this year, so you could just go get a guy that has played in
Yeah.
in
Yes,
a
I'm with you.
rotation
A Latavius Murray type that you got like 5
for
years
like
ago.
$3 million or something.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
we are all basically, it sounds like, on the same page when it comes to running back and Dalvin Cook. All right. The 5th guy on my list of 7, Danielle Hunter. He's 28. 2023 cap hit is scheduled to be $13.1 million. Dead money cut pre-June 1st, which of course is the exercise that we are doing in this, would be $18.9 million.
So you would lose money on the deal, right?
Yes, you would. Yes, you would. And that's the thing is, and this is going, and he has, I believe, 2 void years on the contract after 2023. So this, in essence, is the last season of his contract.
And he has no more guaranteed money left, right? So you have to like do an extension with him or something,
Yep.
don't you?
So that's the question. Yes. You would not restructure him so much as you would restructure to extend.
So this is actually good. I would let me ask you this. He's 29. He was top 10 in the league in pressures. He did get to double-digit sacks. He played his first healthy season in 3 years.
Yes.
Do you want him around for like 2 or 3 more seasons? Would you look to extend Danielle Hunter?
Quite possibly, yes. Here's the thing that I would also say. If KOC is not in the room right now, I would call his secretary and say, have Kevin come down here. No, he's probably there.
They are
Okay.
administrative assistants in 2023. You politically incorrect.
Well, it's a man or woman. I don't
Okay.
care. I didn't say it was a woman. I just said secretary. It's a secretary. It can be a man or a woman. Okay.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with being a secretary.
An administrative assistant.
Okay, whatever. Danielle Hunter, here's what I would say to Kevin. I would say, Kevin, I think part of what we're going to do in replacing Ed, because you have fired Mr. Donatel, right? Is I would ask this question. How can we feature Danielle Hunter again as prominently as possible in our defense in 2023?
Yeah.
And here's why. He had a good year. Just as importantly, after 2 years of basically being hurt, he came back and proved that he could stay healthy. He's not 30 yet, which is important. And I really think that he's the type of guy that you build around. Like you don't, it was clear, and I was wrong. I thought that he'd fit in the 3-4 perfectly, but he didn't. And the question is not what can we do that Danielle has to do. It's what can we do to feature a guy who is a special player. So yes, I would be comfortable with like going 2 more years out with him to create some space, but also create security that he knows he's going to play a prominent role in which he's going to be featured in my defense.
I'm trying to figure out what his contract would even look like. I'm trying to find a comp. I mean, so other edge rushers, Bradley Chubb signed a multi-year extension. He's a couple years younger, though, than Danielle Hunter. I don't think you're going to put him out. He's not going to be up there at the top, just because of he's not quite the same guy that he was.
Yep.
But he might fight this. This is the hard part. You're going to have to find something
Well, lots of guys might fight what we're trying to accomplish here.
right.
Like those are other conversations. Agents are going to come in, be pissed off at me.
But we're probably looking at, I'm just going to say, and again, this is probably lowballing him a little bit. Bradley Chubb's base salary is $19 million. He's a little younger, a little bit, So let's give Danielle an $18 million base salary. And I'm willing to overpay a little if I think he's healthy because he plays a premium position.
Yes.
And then we'll do a bonus. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do I don't know, prorated bonus. Let's call it 5. I don't know. This is so complicated. That's a high cap number.
What if we just do this? What if we just ride this out, Danielle? You just keep him as is. You keep him at $13.1 million. You let him ride it out. You let him finish this contract. And then if you say goodbye, once his contract's done, you say goodbye, or you extend him in 2024, you can do that. I think the best way to do this is to keep him the same. Do not touch his contract. That's where I'm at.
I disagree. I think we should.
Because,
I mean, you can't. But he doesn't have any. He doesn't have any guaranteed money. He will
here's
not.
My logic.
He will not agree to do this.
Here's my logic here. Okay, so he, if you just pay him as it is, he has a 13.1 cap hit for this season, right? 13.1 cap hit
for 23 for next season. Yes.
Yep. So if you
but Dex, he has a base salary of $4.9 million. He will not agree to do this.
Right. That's what I'm not saying you do anything with his contract. I think you keep him as is.
Right. And Phil's saying that he then does not show up for training camp.
Correct. He will tell you to go bleep yourself.
Yes.
And
he will
I'm hold out and be pissed.
And I'm going back to a 4-3, and I'm going to accommodate him too. And with what Phil is trying to do, create more cap space.
Yeah.
Like our whole goal here is to clear cap space as much as possible to help ourselves for 2023.
So, real quick, all right, stick with me here. What if it was I'm just going to give him a deal that's kind of like the Bradley Chubb deal, all right, over like 3 years. I know it's easier for like the purposes of this exercise to just do whatever, but I think I legitimately think we should do this like a front office would do it.
That's why you're here.
Yes.
Like you are crunching it right now.
So we're going to give him a $10 million signing bonus.
I want
we're
steak
give him
for lunch. Yes.
A $9 million base salary,
right.
which is not quite what Bradley Chubb's is. Let's just see. And if we have to do this by hand too, we can do it. But the transaction here would be a multi-year extension for Danielle Hunter. And then his cap number would bloat up to like $20 million for this year. But you could also finagle that with a signing bonus.
Yep.
So
yes.
for the we'll come back to that math wise later if we need to. But unless Declan, are you putting up a fight that you don't want him beyond 2022 or 23?
I would probably just ride this out. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, but
I understand he's not going to. I understand the logic here that yes, right. He's probably going to see that. Hey, I'm only going to make $13 million, or actually, that
he's
figure
not
next
making
season.
$13 million.
Which
he's making 5.
Yeah,
that's what he's going to say
with no guarantee.
The cap number is higher because the Vikings pushed some of it further out. Just like that's what's happening here,
right?
Okay.
And he also, I mean, a realistic thing too is this: if they're going to stick with a 3-4, he might balk.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, he didn't. He had a good statistical year and PFF year, but he didn't look nearly as comfortable as I think he likes to look.
Yeah.
So there's a Danielle episode conundrum here.
Okay, here's how we can compromise, because I also think Declan's just trying to move the show along, which is a valid point. Let's do this. If you extend him, you could pretty easily keep his cap number at the same number that it's at. You would just give him money for the next 3 years. Okay. So let's keep his cap number for the purposes of this exercise at the number that it's at, which is $13 million cap hit for 2023, and assume that an extension would it would be more in future years, but they would keep it around the same for 2023. All right.
All right.
Okay.
All right. The last two are going to be quick, easy, simple. One conversation is going to be tough, but you know what? That's football. 30-year-old Eric Kendricks, 2023 cap hit $11.4 million. Yeah. Dead money if you cut him 1.9. Cap savings 9.5. 2023 is supposed to be the last season of his contract. I flat out cut him.
Yep.
Again, Ring of Honor, quite possibly. I don't know, but I think that has real potential. But I cut him.
Yeah,
and that's it. I don't try to bring him back. I don't try to bring back. All right, and the last one, same age as Kendricks, his partner at starting linebacker, 30-year-old Jordan Hicks, another easy one, 2023 cap hit, $6.5 million. Dead money, 1.5. Cap savings, 5. Next season is the last, or is scheduled to be the last season of his contract. You're going to save $5 million Jordan Hicks, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Yeah, any pushback, Dex?
No,
I just saved 14.5. Like we just saved 14.5.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna add CJ Ham here.
Okay.
Because he's a
That's
30-year-old fullback.
That's fine.
That played 180 snaps, and you can save like $3 million
He was a captain
somewhere in there. All right.
Yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I didn't even think of that one. So yes.
So with those moves, so we just said goodbye to Adam Thielen, Za'Darius Smith, Eric Kendricks, Jordan Hicks, Dalvin Cook, and also CJ Ham. That leaves the Vikings with 30. We went from 8 million over to 30 million under.
Mm-hmm.
But it also leaves the Vikings without 2 starting inside linebackers, 1 starting edge rusher, 2 veteran running backs, a number 2 wide receiver, a starting center, and 3 starting cornerbacks. Because Duke Shelley is a free agent, Patrick Peterson's a free agent, Shannon Sullivan's a free agent.
Yes.
So if you have 30 million in cap space right now,
this is fun.
you need what, about 8 for your draft class? Well, actually, they only have a few draft picks, but let's assume 8 million, right? Is that right? Typically,
I think because they only have, I think the first round pick might be the only one that registers in the top 51. So
it's all slotted in. Yeah.
Yeah. We can double check what that slot number is, but it's probably a lot less than 8.
Okay, so let's call it 5. Let's call it 5. So that's now 25 million in free agency that you have to spend to either re-sign guys like Garrett Bradbury, sign any free agent. So 25. Are we comfortable with about 25 million right now?
I am not comfortable, and I propose more moves, starting with this one. Brian O'Neill just signed a contract extension couple off seasons ago, right? So he's locked up through 2026 with a simple restructure. According to Over the Cap, you can take some of Brian O'Neill's cap hit from this year, take some of his base salary, convert it to a bonus, smooth it out over the next handful of years.
Yep.
Just a simple restructure for Brian O'Neill saves you, drum roll, an additional $10 million in cap space for 2023.
Wow.
They'll do that. Yep.
Okay.
They'll do that. So
that gets you to $40 million in cap space. And I'll propose another one. We're going to have to do this one by hand probably, but TJ Hawkinson has 1 year left on his contract, and then he's a free agent. You definitely want to extend him, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
his cap hit is $9.3 million for 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I think you offer him a multi-year contract extension, like a 4 or 5 year extension that he's only, 26 years old next year. Sign him through age 30. Just get the rest of his prime. And by doing that, I don't know what the contract would look like exactly, but you probably take his cap hit from like $9.3 million down to $6 or $7 million for this year or something like that. So you'd probably, let's call it another $4 million in savings or something.
Mm-hmm.
That gets you to $44 million. And I will throw this out. That's like what we just did that's about the most you could do to get to a reasonable number in cap space, right?
Yeah, if you don't touch the quarterback's contract.
Hold on. Yep.
That's what I want to bring up. If you were truly all in for 2023, you would do everything we just said, get rid of some of the aging players, create some space, and you would probably extend Kirk Cousins. He has a $36 million cap hit, which is among the highest in the NFL. It's like 5th or 6th highest. You could easily save another $10 to $15 million, depending on the structure of that contract, if you said, all right, let's lock in another 2 or 3 years of Kirk Cousins through like age 37, if you wanted to.
Yeah, and that's going to come down to, I think, in large part, the head coach. He's seen it all now. He's seen the good, the bad, the warts. He's seen it all. Saw it Sunday, because that's going to become the issue is, do you think that you can find a quarterback to replace him on a rookie contract, which becomes great? Now here's the I'm going to throw the real curveball into this room right now. I'm going to throw the smoke bomb in. This is the hand grenade of hand grenades, okay? Because I'm sure our PD family is saying right now, you guys aren't bringing up the Jefferson extension. Justin Jefferson's going to get a contract extension. That's true. He is. He's going to get a contract extension before next season, but he still has 2 years left on his rookie contract, which don't have. So what the Vikings will do is year 4, they'll pay him. Year 5, they'll exercise the option, which means in 2 years, Jefferson's extension, which is going to be mammoth, kicks in. Now, to reverse engineer this on Kirk, I think what you need to do is make sure that Kirk is not in the building in 2025. I don't think I can afford Jefferson and Cousins, because Kirk's not going to take discounts. Oh yeah, I'll play for less by then. Kirk's Kirk. He has broken the bank. He is a Hall of Fame negotiator. So what we need to be cognizant of and aware of as we do this is, if we're going to do something with Kirk's contract, we need to bring it to a halt by the time Jefferson's second contract kicks in. And that's our dilemma.
But you can also just straight up get out from underneath his contract by just, this is where I would be on Declan's side of just ride out. This is the guy I would ride out.
Yep.
Just play the last year of his contract.
I agree with that. Oh no, I'm with Dex too. But my point is, if you do extend him, yes, that can help you for the right now, but you could leave yourself completely screwed in 2025. So I'm with Dex as well.
Yeah, this is easy. If they indeed did all this stuff that we just laid out, and you have the $40 million in cap space, in 2024 you're sitting at $149 million in cap space. I can still build a competitive team in 2023. I get out of now I understand that the cap space is great, but now you have the biggest question mark at the most important position. So who the hell plays quarterback? I figured that out.
Well,
I figured that out.
And
that's
some
why
of that,
you hired Kevin.
And some of that money, yes, some of that 2024 money would, I'm sure there'd be other contractual, you're going to sign some free agents this year that would take some, but yes, I think you ride it out. And then listen, if he plays lights out in the final year of his contract and you decide, you know what, let's do it again. Okay. But you need to get to a year-to-year point with him. So that contract is no longer holding you hostage from building a monster roster. So here's my question now. Okay. So with $44 million, so let's say they don't touch Kirk's contract, with $44 million in cap space, and only 4 draft picks. Let's call it 5 draft picks because we got a 5th round pick or something for Dalvin Cook, right?
Yep.
How do you then go about filling 2 linebacker spots? I guess Brian Asamoah has to be one of them. And then you go sign another linebacker that's a little younger.
Yep.
You don't have anyone to rush the quarterback beyond Danielle Hunter on this team. Patrick Jones, he was not getting pressures this year. DJ Wanham wasn't getting pressures. So you got to go find a starting caliber edge rusher, maybe in the first round of the draft. But those those don't just exist on trees in free agency. You're down to no running backs of any experience, right? That doesn't scare me as much.
I was going to say, I'm fine with that.
Ty Chandler, come on down, man. You need a number 2 wide receiver. You need a starting center, and you need starting cornerbacks. Because, again, Duke Shelley's a free agent, so you have to tap into that cap space to sign Duke Shelley back, Patrick Peterson back.
Yep.
A backup quarterback. Nick Mullins is a free agent. Is that enough resources to fill all of those things at a high level to continue marching forward in contention? You'd have to be damn near perfect across the board with those signings and draft picks, or hope that there's maybe Josh Metellus can be more of a player for you this year. There's definitely some guys that maybe Lewis Seen is back healthy or something.
As a football guy, I'm going to tell you guys this right now, okay? You cap geeks. What I'm going to do is, and this is a very important thing. I'm switching back to a 4-3. Okay? So I'm done with it. The 3-4 didn't fit my personnel at all. And I don't think I have a ton of 3-4 personnel now coming in. So I'm going back to a 4-3. Danielle has his hand in the ground at left end, which is where he is a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah.
That's where he's at his best. Dalvin Tomlinson, a big man, is back at nose tackle. Harrison Phillips is at 3-tech. I think that they're better off there. I would argue that if I sit down with the tape and watch tape from 2021 and 22, guys like Patrick Jones and Wanham are better suited to playing the end in a 4-3.
Could be right. Yep.
So I think I'm better.
That's why they were drafted.
Exactly right. In a 4-3, I can find linebackers. I can find guys. I can draft one and develop them. Asamoah can play.
Yeah.
The corners are dicey, but because here's the thing. After watching Sunday's game, I'm not sure I'm bringing Patrick Peterson back.
He's also going to be fairly expensive, right? He's not going to come back for $2 million.
The Giants attacked him very wisely, and he didn't exactly live up to the test. I think people were going at previously the Dantzlers and the Duke Shelleys and the Booths because Patrick's respected. But when you go at Patrick, I mean, don't forget the first play of the season. If Christian Watson doesn't have butter on his hands, he beats Patrick Peterson for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So the corners do concern me, but at some point in time too, guess what? And this is where I'm not going to dump on Kwesi's first draft class, but I will say this: it needs to develop. Can Booth play? If Booth and Evans can't play, if Dantzler can't play, that's not a Kwesi thing, but that's another young guy. So like, you got to make decisions as well.
Yeah. I mean, next year, your cornerback room, again, right now, the only guys under contract right now are Caleb Evans, Andrew Booth Jr., Cam Dantzler. I mean, of the guys that played, those are the guys under contract for next year.
Yep.
And then I think I look to bring Duke Shelley back because he's not going to break the bank. Like, he had 5 good games. I bring him back as depth.
Yep.
I mean, he probably start the season, and then I hope that Andrew Booth Jr. can stay healthy. I hope that some of the good things you saw from Caleb Evans, although PFF hated him in coverage, but there were some flashes there. And then Cam Dantzler, we've seen in the past, can be a quality player. I almost feel like you got to pick one or two of these positions and just cross your fingers with the young guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's not going to all work out of all the players that you're going to sign and draft and trade. It's just
right.
Yeah,
or guess what?
Like that.
You pick one guy who's not going to be super expensive, but will be expensive on the open market in March, and sign him.
Yeah.
Like, do you sign a cornerback? Do you sign we know this. I think you're going to try to get by on the cheaper side of things at running back, which you should. Linebacker. So, like, there are certain positions where, and this is where Kwesi, I think, is going to differ from Spielman quite a bit. You are going to put a priority, I think, more so on positions than actual players.
Mm-hmm.
So, we could get this great running back. Okay, go away. I don't want that. I want to spend that on a number 2 receiver. I want to spend that on a cornerback. I'm not going to spend that on a safety. So,
yeah. All right. I want to just real quick, because we did promise the audience, just real quick. Let's go. Just a quick game of Judd guesses the PFF grades from that game on Sunday.
All right. Yeah. Let's be quick here. I'll be as quick as possible.
20 or more snaps. Who were the 3 best offensive players for the Vikings?
Kirk Cousins.
3rd best.
Justin Jefferson didn't really do that much. That doesn't mean he can't grade out well. TJ Hawkinson.
Number 1.
All right, I'm going to stick to what I do. I'm going to go with a lineman because it just feels like, and it's fine, but it feels like there's always an O lineman in this mix. Christian Darrisaw. I had a feeling that was going to be wrong.
He was 4th, by the way, so your radar was pretty close.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Am I overthinking this? Could it have been Jefferson? I mean, he didn't do that much, but that doesn't mean that he would be knocked for it. Because I'm trying to think. Bradbury, Udo, Ingram, Cleveland got beat on that last one. That leads me to believe it's probably not him. Total guess. Justin Jefferson. I'll just say it.
He's kind of middle of the pack.
Okay, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
One of his worst graded season games of the season, actually.
And am I sniffing around the right?
Not really.
Really.
I would say it's not a guy that we've seen here very often.
But
kind of fits in with what you thought was maybe going to happen.
Okay.
Oh, I think I got it.
Johnny Munt.
13 personnel, baby.
13 personnel. I didn't think he
snaps.
Did he play 21 snaps?
Irv Smith only played 4 snaps in that game.
Yeah, and he dropped a pass. Good
But then he caught a touchdown too, right?
He did.
Wildly up and down with those 4 snaps. All right, now we're looking for, again, 20 snaps or more, the 3 best defensive players.
Danielle Hunter.
Second best.
Duke Shelley.
Third best.
Unbelievable season.
I know, dude. It's nuts.
Congratulations, kid.
It's insane.
Congratulations. Just a great season. Just a great story. And then so I'm missing number 1. I thought Danielle would be number 1.
A little surprised by this one, not gonna lie.
All right, who else could it be? I mean, the defense was so awful.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so bad. I can't imagine it's a linebacker. Those guys were chasing people all day long. It didn't feel like that was good. Safety, maybe? Seeing if I can get Phil to flinch. Jump offside. False start. All right, I'm going to go with a safety. Harrison Smith. Good, because he felt
was
like
the 5th worst graded player.
It felt like he didn't play well. Dalvin Tomlinson.
Middle of the pack.
Down to one left that you were surprised by. Okay, it can't be Shannon Sullivan. It can't be Patrick Peterson. He was chasing people all day. Cam Bynum maybe, but I don't think he had that good a year. Harrison Phillips.
It's a good guess, but he was.
I said it with a lot of confidence, so it sounded good.
Yeah,
Harrison Phillips.
Za'Darius Smith, despite only having 2 pressures in that game, he did have a couple stop tackles.
Never would have gotten it.
The 3 worst graded players were Chandon Sullivan, Eric Kendricks, and Patrick Peterson. 3 guys that probably aren't back next year.
Chandon Sullivan, bye.
Yeah, dude, that was
not
a good deal for them. So there it is. Judd guesses the PFF grades. Nice job all season, Judd.
So our cap space third was what, Phil, by the end of the show?
$44 million. I will save this for us, too, so we kind of know.
Okay.
And a shout-out to our friends at Prize Picks, too. The easy way to play daily fantasy. You pick between 2 and 5 players and an over-under on their projections. You can win up to 10 times on any entry. Saw someone send in, I think it was a little $1,000 ticket yesterday on the old Prize Picks, so nice job. And you can run mixed sports entries as well. It's a good time to play fantasy. Promo code North and Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. And that's how you can let them know that we sent you. PrizePicks.com and the Prize Picks app. All right, good job, front office. Nice job, Declan, our capologist. Judd, our general manager. And
we got some lunch.
Whatever I am. I don't know. Yeah. We're waiting on lunch still.
You are the administrative assistant.
That's what I am. Yep. All right, more Vikings talk on Mackie and Judd today, too. See you guys.